Welcome back everyone, Casey with CX Mods. It's been a while since our last video because I actually broke my thumb mountain biking and I had to have surgery, so I've just been kind of laying low since then. I'm on the mend, it's still a little stiff, but I can use my hand a little bit more now. So I figured it was time to get caught up on some videos. And you can see I've got quite a few things in front of me. The first thing I wanted to go over were these new mirrors that we brought in. These are going to be wide angle mirrors, so you'll have a better field of vision when you're in the vehicle. As you can see, these are our blue option. We'll have a clear option as well. Both will keep the heated mirror function and also the blind spot monitoring function that you can see there. That's what this little harness is for. But if you don't have that, you don't need that. So I will show you a comparison with the factory mirrors and those. I'll just sit in stool, show you what I look like before and after, and then I'll do the installation after that. The next thing is I'm going to be putting on these 30mm spacers just to see if I like the stance of our RAV4 with those. I did not bring these in. I will if there's enough interest, but I was just going to test them out, see if I like the stance of the wheels with those. But we did end up getting more 25 and 20mm spacers in, and it has our actual logo on these. Before it was just a solid text, but they actually were able to get the correct text that we have for our website and social media. So those are back in stock. We've got 5 sets of each. So if you've been waiting to pick them up sooner than later, since I know that there's been quite a few people asking about them. The next thing is when I did the lift on the RAV4, I goofed up the sway bar links, getting them off because they were pretty much seized up in there. I never put them back on or replaced them, but I brought these in because the car's actually been driving fine. The only thing is without the links, the sway bar pivots up and down and it's hitting the lower control arm and making a pretty obnoxious noise. So that's the only reason why I'm putting those back on. And then the next thing is I'm going to be doing an oil change. So I picked up a Blackstone kit. If you're not aware of what they do, they pretty much just test your oil to make sure that the engine's healthy. It's really good to do that over time if you plan on keeping a car for a while, and they can get you an idea of how everything's looking, just making sure that there's nothing glaring. And then, so I'll get that done, send that into them. I won't have results for a while. But the last thing is, we also brought in some steering wheel emblems for the RAV4 and the Corolla Cross. They come in a gloss black and a matte black. I'm most likely gonna put the matte ones on. I know I've had these on the website for a little while and added a few other things that I haven't been able to highlight yet, but we'll get to it down the road. That should be everything that we've got planned for today. Oh, and one other thing to note is that these are also going to work on the Corolla Cross, but I am working with the manufacturer to provide a different harness since the connector for the blind spot monitoring system is different. So for right now, those are only compatible with the RAV4, but I will update the Corolla Cross crowd as soon as I know more. We'll get started with that and then go through the rest of it. All right, so here is the factory mirror, and I'm sitting on a stool with my right shoulder pretty much in line with the rear driver's side door handle. So I will go ahead and swap out the mirror and show you the difference. Holy cow, these make such a huge difference. Before you couldn't see either vehicle next to me, and you can see a good portion of the rear quarter panel now, and also so much more of my body. I think it's going to be a bit of a learning curve just understanding how far back a vehicle is, but keep in mind the blind spot monitoring light's still going to click on, and that usually comes on about half car length or so behind you. But once you get a gauge for where that vehicle's at, I think these are going to be such an advantage overall compared to the mirrors before. Even just driving through traffic, backing out of your driveway, these are going to be so worth it. Install is super easy, so let's go over that now. All right, so for the install, you'll just want to turn the mirror in and then sneak your hand back here and then slowly pop that out. You're going to have the leads for the heated function and then the blind spot monitoring. I've got a little pick tool I'm going to use to just disconnect the connector here. It's a little tricky with mainly one thumb. So I got that, and then I should be able to just slowly pull it out. Let's see what I do. Now you'll be able to pull the heated function off. It's going to be a little tight. It's been on there for a while, or it's dirty back there. All right, so we got that off. Now for the mirror, for the blind spot monitoring connector, this is essentially just a little light back here, and this has a clear adhesive on it. So you'll just want to take that off and then stick it behind where the little indicator's at there. So we'll do that now, just so that you know that's what that looks like. And then you're gonna have a little longer lead for that, and you'll want to just kind of put it up in this guide around so the areas that clip the mirror in aren't going to pinch the wire or anything. It kind of gives you an idea how to do that. Now I'm going to start with the blind spot monitoring, since I've got the most slack in that. Clipped in there, and then these are the heated mirror leads. Those are in there. And then you want to make sure that that connector is out of the way. I'm going to grab a towel so that I can evenly push on the mirror without breaking it. Now, this might be a little tricky with my thumb, so I might have to switch hands or get behind it. I'm gonna try it first and see how that feels. You want to be very careful because, like any mirror, it can crack, so all right, feel pretty good about that. Kind of want to just pull on it just to make sure it's snug and everything. And that's all it takes. All right, so I actually already installed the wheel spacers. Since I have a video on it, I wasn't going to cover that. And then I just did the end links while I was at it. So I am going to do the oil change, but this is the container they give you to fill up for the oil analysis. They say to try and get oil about midstream. So I'm going to let it drain for a little bit and then fill that up, package it up, and send it in. I feel like that's pretty good, so I'm gonna just get this in there. All right, that should be all they need. And then for those of you who have a keen eye, the oil drain plug gasket is stuck on the pan, so always keep an eye out for that. All right, so this is gonna be the last finishing touch for our video. It's just the steering wheel emblem. As you can see, it's got adhesive on the back, and it just covers the factory logo on the steering wheel. And I've got a little pick here so I can take the adhesive backing off, since I don't think I have long enough nails to do that. Also, trying to do this through the lens of the camera, it's harder than you think. And my bum thumb. So, got that off. There you go. And yes, it's probably easiest just to blow your horn. Make sure that it sticks on there nice. All right, so that's a wrap. We got some not so fun stuff like maintenance out of the way, but it gave me a chance to get the sample for the oil analysis for Blackstone, so I'll get that sent into them. Got the sway bar links on now. It got rid of that chatter I was hearing from the sway bar, so that's really nice to get out of the way. Obviously, no issues with the spacers. Made sure everything was torqued down, so we're good there. But I did get a chance to drive the car after and get a feel for the mirrors, and it's insane how much more you can see. It pretty much got rid of any potential blind spot there was. And typically, I've got the mirror pointed so far out into the other lane that I don't see the vehicle. I don't find it necessary. I know some people like seeing a sliver of the car, but before I did not have that. But now that these have such a broad view of everything, I do see a little bit of the car, but it doesn't feel unnecessary, or I don't feel like you need to go out any further because you can see so much more. But you guys should pick these up. They're such a huge improvement. It's insane. But if you guys have any questions for any reason, feel free to email us at sales@cxmods.com, or you can find us on social media and message us there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.